Hello, what is up, people of the internet? Today I'm making a small update on the MS01, so the MinisForum, my home lab server that I showed you on some previous video. So the MS01 already have three NVMe connections, so I'm gonna use this PCIe to NVMe adapter to use a new NVMe that's gonna pass through my VM and which I'm gonna install TrueNAS Core. And I'm gonna use as a backup. So I'm gonna back up Proxmox toward this VM, which I know is a bit odd, but I do as well as a backup anyway, so that's fine. And we're gonna do some speed tests today as well on the drive itself and on the SMB drive. So first I need to put that together. So I need to remove all the screw. I'm gonna fast forward all this, and then I'm gonna install the NVMe drive I just bought. So as you can see, it came with some chemical paste like this. You already have a screw there, so you can just plug in your NVMe drive and fix it at the top. And I'm gonna show you my NVMe drive I just bought. So it's WD, so Western Digital Black, 4 terabytes. As usual, all the links are in the description. I'm just gonna fast forward the opening. Don't mind the horrible way I'm opening the box right now. And there we go. So just a standard NVMe is quite fast because it's over 7,000 megabit by second. I can find out the price on the UK store, but on the US store we are under 310 US dollar. Obviously, you don't have to go for 4 terabyte, but anyway. So we just have to plug in onto M.2 port there, but first we need to do the chemical paste. So it's actually quite easy with a penknife, but I'm just gonna use my finger. You can see on the background the P14 Max from Arctic that they sent me on the previous video. They actually work very great with my network rack. So I just put there the chemical paste. Be careful to not put on the connector itself, obviously. Same on the other side. And I just noticed they actually give me three of them. So obviously I'm just gonna use two. Okay, I'm doing a horrible job right now, so I'm just gonna put it back together. And then the other side, and we should be good to go. I'm gonna set it on the M.2 connector first, so it will be ready. By the way, there is some adapter with 2 or 3, 4 NVMe slot, but I wouldn't use them because I actually don't know how many PCI Express LAN is available on the MS01. If you know, please do let me know in the comments because then I would have gone for red instead. Currently, I use one NVMe for the system and two for Z-Red, or is that three on the Z-Red? I can't remember. Either way, I just have to unscrew this a little bit. So I'm not doing a very great job, but I'm just gonna go halfway and stuck in there. Please don't mind me. I'm taking a terrible amount of time just to set up NVMe, but I promise it's nearly finished. Going to fast forward a bit, and then I'm gonna set up or put back the heatsink on top of it. Not quite sure what side to put in, but I'm gonna try this anyway. Anyway, something to fast forward as well as I'm taking edges. Okay, so we're good to go. So I'm gonna get my MS01 side of my network rack here. As you can see, we're gonna plug it through the PC Express port of the MS01. So I know it's a bit messy in terms of cable management there. I'm just gonna unplug everything, get the server there. I'm just showing you how I use thermal paste I talked about on the previous video. So it's the Arctic one, and I think it's very great. Don't mind the way I'm doing that. It's quite terrible, I know. And I'm just plugging that NVMe driver. So we do have 4 NVMe now. I know I did remove all the padding on top of the heatsink, so not very great, but it works just fine. I have the two Arctic drive I showed you on the last video. I know it's a bit weird, but it actually works right, and the system is super cool. So just gonna put this all together again in my cable management is horrible and closing that door. And then we're gonna log in Proxmox and see what's going on there. There we go. So don't mind the footage because I get the wrong one. So there's a few settings to change. I name my TrueNAS. I'm gonna add some tags. You don't have to. Then you just click next, and you should see storage. So you're gonna pick the storage where you uploaded the TrueNAS Core image, and you're gonna select the TrueNAS Core image. And next. So for the CPU, we're gonna use Q35, and for the BIOS, we select UEFI and select the storage for it. Then we can go on next. And for the disk, so that will be only the disk for installing the OS itself, so TrueNAS, not the actual storage we're gonna use because we're gonna pass through it after the video. So 32 gigs should be fine. And for the CPU, I would recommend you to use Host Air instead of what I pick, and 8192 megabytes, which is recommended for the memory. Last thing to do is to change the boot order for the CD. So we're going to put that on top so we can boot for the install drive. So it's going to show you how to pass through this hard drive, although I will do that at the end again. So finding mine because it's WD, I use this command, and then don't mind me here, I have to put the correct VM ID and 2 for the SCSI drive. Then we can start the VM and press escape just at the beginning so we can go to the boot management, and we're going to remove that secure boot. Then you can press F10 and Y and go back and reset. So now you should boot through the install process. So let me fast forward a little bit. All right, so now we're gonna click install and we're gonna select the virtual hard drive we just created. It's just a virtual one, so it's not the one we're gonna pass through yet. And I would recommend not use a password because I had some issues doing so. We're gonna do the password after with the web interface. So you can just go ahead and click cancel. Don't worry, I'm not gonna leave it without a password and select UEFI for the boot. And again, fast forwarding a bit. So now we have to remove that installation drive. So we're gonna go back to option and remove the CD drive. And when it's done, you can go back to the terminal and then you're gonna select shutdown and not reboot. Otherwise, the setting won't apply. Okay, now I'm showing you again how to pass through this drive. Again, the key here is to put a different number next to SCSI, not the same one you use for the virtual drive anyway, otherwise you're gonna have some conflicts. And use the correct VM ID, obviously. Okay, I think we're good to go, so we can start TrueNAS. I'm gonna fast forward again as it might take some time. And we're good to go. So we have IP there, which is 10.9.8.33. I would recommend you to use a static or DHCP reservation, obviously. And welcome to TrueNAS Core. So we have our 8 gigs of memory we just set up earlier, 10 gigs network NIC, or NIC because the network NIC is a network interface anyway. So now we need to go inside storage and this, and you see the virtual one and the one we pass through. So we go. We're gonna have to go to pool and add, create a new pool, create a new put again, and then we're gonna select that drive. So in my case, I have to click here, and I'm gonna move that to the right. So obviously I would have preferred using a red there, but I can't because of the PC lane. If I'm wrong, please do leave a comment. So really what I have to do is just to click force and create. Obviously I need to pick a name, so I'm just gonna call it TrueNAS. And I'm confirm. It's just for backup. I already have backup somewhere else. Gonna put some other stuff like Unify, Protect Video as well. And fast forwarding again, as it might take some time. So no, we need to do a data set. So I'm gonna create a backup one for Proxmox. So I'm gonna just call mine backup, I suppose. And submit. So we have a data set, we have a pool, we need to create the user, the permission, and the Samba. So we go, I'm showing you there the permission, but I need to create the user first. So I'm gonna go to account, user, and add, sorry. So I'm gonna call mine, I don't know, like Proxmox B maybe. And this time I'm gonna use a secure password. And that should be it ready. So we're just gonna submit. Okay, so we have that done. We're gonna set the permission now. We're nearly finished. So we're going to storage, clicking on the three dot, and then edit permission. And I guess you could use this interface, but I'm gonna use ACL Manager. By default, it creates three different permissions. I'm gonna remove all of them. Your knowledge may vary. I'm gonna put my user as create, so prox must be. Same for the group. So apply user and I apply group. And then for this one, I'm gonna select for user and I'm gonna add Proxmox B. Just realizing now I'm picking a terrible name. Sorry. B is definitely for backup. And we can remove all the other user. So that look good. We can confirm that and we can save. Okay, so the last thing to do is to set up the CMB. So we're gonna create a Samba share. For that, we have to go to sharing. And I'm doing Samba, but you can use something else like NFS or AFP. I'm just used to Samba already. So I'm gonna select the backup dataset we create earlier. We can see the LCL is there. And just submit. So we're good to go. We're just gonna enable the services. And then I'm gonna go ahead on my Mac and connect to this share just to make sure everything is working fine. So Command K is a shortcut if you don't know. And then I'm gonna enter the IP address of TrueNAS and we should see that backup directory there. So connect. Obviously, I'm gonna use my password. So I'm using Proton Pass as you might already know. As per usual, I'm gonna add you a link if you want to try it for free for 30 days. And I'm gonna try to ping Proxmox, or should I say TrueNAS Core, and it is reachable, so it's fine. So now I'm gonna add it to Proxmox. So the ID really is whatever you want to name it. I'm gonna call it TrueNAS VM. Server is obviously the IP address of TrueNAS, username and password we did set earlier, and you should see a backup as I did earlier. And for content, you can select everything or whatever you want to do with this share, and then add, and then we good. So if you scroll down, you should it there. There we go. And then summary, we should see 4 terabytes. So just one sec. So kind of 4 TB. So yeah, all good there. Okay, so I'm gonna create all my backup tasks. Gonna fast forward a bit. Obviously, don't select the TrueNAS VM for this backup. Otherwise, you're gonna have some issues or you get stuck, I guess. So everything but TrueNAS VM, and I'm gonna start this VM and look on TrueNAS what's the story. So we're gonna have a look to the matrix right down there. So there we go. So that seemed to be a bit different from TrueNAS Scale as it doesn't seem to auto refresh. Nothing's going on here yet. Let's have a look to the CPU and Sam, not much going on, as you would expect anyway from a SMB and not a lot of thing. So the disk, we should see both of them. So the virtual drive and the NVMe. Don't seems to have any data for, so let's see. So memories. And we have plenty of memories, so we ground. And going back to network, still nothing going on really. So we might fast forward a bit and then coming back in a bit. There we go. So it's been a while, and we can see now that we've been up to 2.34 gigs. So actually, I'm not even sure what to think about it. So let me know in the comment if you have a 10 gig NAS and a CMB. So I'm very curious. Gonna go through this drive we just passed through. Although I'm gonna do a speed test, but that won't be a very proper speed test as is through the Samba share. So that's the actual directory of the backup file, and if I create a 100 gig file, we are up to 3.8 gigs. I'm a bit surprised to be honest. I'm gonna do a proper SMB speed test. And then is more accurate. We get like 1.83 gigabyte per second. Anyway, that's the gear I use for my network. I leave the link down the description like usual. And have a good one.